let's talk about the NFC East. Ooh.
Yo,
He's got the shirt on.
I'm ready.
He's got the shirt on.
I think I know this division pretty well.
I'm pissed I missed the AFC East because I was on vacation last week. But I know, Tim, I hope you held it down for the Jets. You know what I'm saying?
You know, Sam Darnold.
Anyway, NFC East. We want to do the storyline to watch, the biggest addition, biggest subtraction, and the rookie to watch in this division. So we're going to start with storylines. Whoever wants to go first.
I'll lead this off. It is clearly the number one storyline probably in the entire NFC is Carson Wentz's knee. You're looking at a team that is loaded. He's the reason why. Not because he's a great quarterback, because he also makes about $3 million against the cap. It's one thing I've been saying for many, many years now. The Seahawks rose to prominence because Russell Wilson was getting paid less than the kicker, right? Dak Prescott isn't making any money right now. Dak is a bad one. But, like, Goff, the Rams are able to bring in Sue. They were able to bring in Watkins last year. They bring in Cooks.
They'll give Donald a deal.
They'll give Donald a deal. You bring in Peters and Talib, right?
Yo, that team's ridiculous.
Right. So, but why, though? Because Goff is on a rookie deal.
Yeah.
Right, he's getting paid $6 million. Goff is making $6 million a year against the cap. Wentz is around that much too. But when you look, and Kirk Cousins is taking up 25% of your cap. All these Eli Manning's making $25 million a year. When you have the luxury of not having to pay a quarterback money, you could go out and get all these free agents. We've seen it work many times.
Preach.
So I'm crushing this right now. If his knee is banged up and he's not healthy, he still might not play in all of September. We don't know yet, because what a lot of people forget is he tore his ACL in December. He didn't have surgery until the playoffs because he was with the knee brace on the sideline of the Super Bowl. So he hasn't had surgery for about a year. It hasn't been a year yet.
Was it you who told me the thing where you rehab before the surgery now?
Because that's what I did. So you rehab before, you strengthen the muscles around your knee, and then you go in surgery. So it shaves off on the back end of your rehab. So instead of it being a 9 to 12 month issue, now it's like 6 to 9, and it's huge. Dude, AP tore his ACL in January, then he won MVP. And the new thing now, it's called a cadaver, where they take, instead of in the past, they take from your tibia or your hamstring, a ligament, and drag it down. It would weaken that part of your body then. Now what they do with the cadaver, it's from a dead person who's your age. They match it up and whatnot, all the science behind it. So it's a better way of rehab.
I just became an organ donor like yesterday.
Damn.
That goes on like your license, doesn't it?
Yeah, my license. I was trying to buy an Airbnb for an announcement that hopefully I'll have for you guys next week. And then anyway, like I had to take a picture of my driver's license, and I saw on the back, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll donate my organs. So if I became like a star wide receiver's knee, I'd be hyped.
Word.
I'd be hyped.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, right?
So yo, that's
Tim acts like the wide receiver's knee has eyeballs and he can see everything going
Yo,
on.
it's all about spirit, all right? My energy will be in the Super Bowl
word.
one day.
So his knee is going to determine, I think, the entire NFC. Because you're looking at a team that should be a team that hosts a playoff game throughout the NFC playoffs if he's healthy. And if he's not, if he's not there for September and they're 1-3, they're playing a first place schedule. They open up a tough game at home against the Falcons. It's gonna be hard. So I think his knee is the biggest storyline of the NFC East and just the whole NFC.
Any faith in Nick Foles?
Yes,
No.
he just won you a Super Bowl.
Well, I'm just saying.
Not really.
Why do you not have faith in Nick Foles? He shouldered the load for a month.
They ran a very specific offense for him that teams were not fortunate enough to be able to scout. Like, if you don't remember, Foles really struggled the last 2 games of the season. Then they got blanked by the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken.
And the Monday night game, I think.
The Monday Night Football game against the Raiders was probably one of the worst football games I've ever seen in my life.
So, and then they put that offense in the playoffs, and teams can't scout it. And I'm going to piggyback off because my biggest storyline in the NFC East is, can the Eagles actually become a dynasty? Right? We've seen these teams kind of build and have these shots at the championships and win a championship, or look like they could, and then they kind of stay pat, fall off. You saw that with the Seahawks most recently. You saw that with the Steelers a few years back when they started winning their championships in the beginning, and then they resurrected because they have a great franchise. But the Eagles are in that place that Nick was talking about where they could afford all these contracts, and they did not stand pat this year. They got rid of some guys. They brought in big time playmakers, and that shows me that they are progressing, right? But there are some positions on the field that that are questionable now. Like Alshon Jeffrey had a really good year last year, but he got open not too much. He might start the year on the PUP list. He had one of the best contested catch rates last year, and Carson Wentz loved to throw him when he wasn't open, but not getting open is a problem when you're a receiver. So can they lost LeGarrette Blount, who was a big part of that team. Can they continue to build forward? Can they win 13 games this year? Can they win 12 games this year? Can they be a number one seed? Can they get that? Can they become a dynasty? Can they become a force for the next 5 years in the NFC? And this year is going to determine whether that's possible.
My storyline is just the post-Kirk Cousins era. No more you like that. No more none of that, all right? Ooh-wee. Deshaun Jackson's been out of there. Like, Pierre Garçon's been out of there. That offense that was so good for them for a couple of years nothing's there no more. And it's Josh Doxson's time now. He was his first-round pick. He's going into his third year.
Lose Geis, too.
Paul Richardson.
Boner kill.
They brought in Paul Richardson. Alex Smith is their new quarterback he's like a placeholder. He's for the time being. I think one of their roster might be one of the worst in the NFL. But, yeah, the blow to Geis, that hurts because he's part of that new-look offense. And I don't know. There's a lot of question marks now in Washington for now and for the future. So it's like, what's the direction they're going in? There's no clear definitive answer there. But if Geis next year, obviously not this year now, but in Doxson pan out, you have two solid skill position players right there, and then you go out and get your quarterback.
They seem like they're in a competitive rebuild.
There's nothing competitive about them.
I don't know. Look, they were very, very injured last year, right? And before they got injured, they were decent. Now you're switching out Kirk Cousins, who I said in this show many, many times, I'm a big fan of Kirk Cousins. I think what he did, he was very much underrated for how much he did for that franchise. But you bring in Alex Smith, who's no slouch, right? This is a guy who's used to running teams. He's used to running playoff teams, right? So if you put him in there in the right situation and Chris Thompson stays healthy and Josh Doxson stays healthy and that defense can stay healthy and the offensive line, most importantly, can stay healthy, the Redskins have a shot to make a little noise and be, I wouldn't say a playoff team because I don't have them in the playoffs at all, but to be an upset kind of team that if the Eagles come in to Washington, that's not a gimme.
But it never is, though. Even the years that the Redskins are 3-13, those games are always tough in the division.
I mean, division games are division games, no matter what.
The
Jets play the Pats tough every time.
All right, then outside division games too. I think that the Redskins are going to be competitive this year. I don't see them winning a lot of games, but I think what's their over/under in Vegas? Do you know off the top of your head?
7.5.
I think the under's a good bet on that, but at the same time, I think 7 wins is a fair place to put them.
6-10, 7-9.
So, and it all depends on Alex Smith. So. I mean, the Reds are an intriguing team this year. There's a lot of intriguing teams.
Well, the one concern I have with Alex Smith is this is a guy who his career was always shaky until he ran into two guys that are really good with quarterbacks, Jim Harbaugh and then Andy Reid. Jay Gruden, right? Like,
I mean, Kirk Cousins.
Sure,
that was McVay though.
That was McVay, and that's also a lot of it had to do, I think, with Kirk Cousins being that good. Like, who do you think is a better quarterback?
So, like, you think Alex Smith is going to fall off a cliff this year because he doesn't have a good coach?
I think so.
He doesn't have to necessarily fall off a cliff to be at his career averages.
Been around, I think he's just been around the block so long that he knows
who
he is.
Let's not forget, though, Alex Smith was a below-average quarterback until he got his ass pushed last year by the rookie coming in, right? And he kind of took a stranglehold to that job and never looked back. Before that, there was a lot of Alex Smith questions, and there's a lot of us in here saying Alex Smith is a thing keeping the Chiefs from competing. So let's see if Alex Smith can duplicate what he did last year, because it's in no way a guarantee.
He was so fun to bet against in January. God, I love Alex Smith for that.